First tonight on our News Live at 7.
And to keep the lights on at all, we rented engines for $40 million a year. Renting. Money out the door. Not $1 of it buying an asset we would own at the end.
Facing the nation, the Prime Minister goes on prime time to address the power crisis now gripping the country. Plus,
the Parliamentary Registration Department is welcoming recommendations made by the CARICOM Election Observers Mission. Stay tuned to our news tonight for more details.
The questions continue. Will we implement the recommended electoral reforms this time around? Also, a 39-year-old Haitian man behind bars accused of obtaining a Bahamian passport by fraud and using a forged NIB Smart card to get it. We've got the details of the court proceedings today. And then in our news at 7:30, more trouble at BPL today.
More disruptions here at Bahamas Power and Light. I'm Delvade Emmanuel. Stay tuned to our news tonight for the full story.
Our News Live at 7 starts now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our News Live at 7. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jerome Sawyer in for Megan Shepherd tonight. We'll get to those headline stories in a moment, but first, threats of industrial action at the embattled Bahamas Power and Light Company. The Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union is now calling for work-to-rule action today in the wake of the fallout over BPL's overtime controversy. On top of ongoing nationwide power outages, last week overtime pay for 3 employees in the hundreds of thousands was leaked. The threat of industrial action now comes after the union says one of its members was among 2 BPL employees suspended today for 5 days over allegations of gross misconduct. Until the matter is resolved, Union President Christopher Hanna is calling for immediate work-to-rule action.
Work-to-rules mean that you work in your job description and you will work the normal hours, allotted 8 to 4. If you work 9 to 5 is to work the normal hours allotted for you to work. And nothing else after that.
Now, Union Vice President Winzelette Backel says the union has not been shown any evidence supporting these allegations. The union is demanding an independent review of the disciplinary process.
We are deeply concerned that to date no evidence has been presented to substantiate these allegations. At no point has the company provided evidence demonstrating that this employee's conduct, performance, and/or actions were unacceptable or contrary to his obligations to the company, its customers, suppliers, or fellow employees. Due process, transparency, and fairness must prevail in all disciplinary matters.
And this is not the only union pushback at BPL. The Bahamas Electrical Workers Union is also speaking out after the suspension of a shop steward. That story is coming up in our news at 7:30 with Atalia Hall. And still on the topic of BPL, the Prime Minister was in prime time last night in a national address on the power crisis, from legacy issues to planned fixes and the controversial huge overtime payouts. Our Chanasa Outen takes it from here.
Last evening, during a national televised address, Prime Minister Philip Davis addressed the ongoing power woes and what's being done next to fix it, while parts of New Providence found themselves in darkness once again.
We had inherited a power grid and a generation system on life support, barely hanging on.
That was Prime Minister Philip Davis' assessment last night as he laid out the problems plaguing the country's power system. Davis says BPL was carrying more than $500 million in debt, along with other obligations, adding to a laundry list of issues. He says engineers warned the country needed approximately $500 million in critical upgrades to avoid a complete failure of the electrical system. And the equipment, he says, is simply too old, with more than 60% of equipment in New Providence needing replacement, and that figure at 80% in the Family Islands.
And to keep the lights on at all, we rented engines for $40 million a year. Renting. Money out the door. and not $1 of it buying an asset we would own at the end.
Davis also taking aim at BPL's overtime bill. The company spent about $20 million last year, with more than $600,000 paid to just 3 employees. He blames the failure of management and oversight, saying a new policy now requires a review when workers' overtime exceeds 30% of their base salary.
It is not credible that a person works 24 hours straight, 3 days running, and does safe work. It is not fair to the ratepayer who funds every dollar. It is not fair to the honest worker whose profession is tarnished by it. A new overtime policy is in force.
But Davis' message was clear. The plan is to stop patching the problem and rebuild the system. That includes new substations and infrastructure, bringing generator units back online, phasing out rented power, and moving toward natural gas and renewable energy.
I'm not here to manage this. I'm here to fix it.
Now, Davis warns there may be temporary disruptions as the old infrastructure is removed and the new systems are connected. But he says the goal is a more reliable and resilient power system for the Bahamas. Reporting for Our News, I'm Chinasa Houghton.
Moving forward now, Bahamian exporters are facing higher tariffs when shipping goods to the United States. As of July 24th, the rate increased from the temporary 10% to 12.5%, raising concerns for local businesses, particularly those in the fishing industry. On the sidelines of the National Crop Scheduling Initiative, Agriculture Minister Jomo Campbell said there's no need to panic, stressing that the Bahamas is not the only country affected. He confirmed government talks with U.S. officials pushing to get the rate reduced.
I can tell you there's been a lot of back and forth. There were over 2,100 meetings being held with over 60 countries involved. The Bahamas isn't affected by this alone, and I am able to say that Minister for Trade and Investment, Minister Fitzgerald, as well as Minister for Foreign Affairs, Minister Mitchell, and I'm also told that even as senior as the Prime Minister himself has had meetings with the American ambassador in that very same regard. And we have had in-house meetings with the persons from the fishing community, and in the very near future, hopefully, as the schedule of the ambassador permits, we will also be seeking to have a meeting with him, ensure that the 2% are projected platform as to the way forward to get us back, hopefully not just to the 10% that we were prior to the 24th of July, but perhaps even lower.
A promise of new legislation governing elections, including campaign finance reform. Those are just some of the changes the parliamentary commissioner says will be in place for future elections. His comments follow recommendations from the CARICOM election observers released this week. That group spent Election Day monitoring the vote. Our Joshua Williams reports tonight.
The general election may have been more than 3 months ago, but observers around the region are calling for a more detailed and transparent electoral process, including campaign finance legislation and other sweeping reforms. The details released in an August 6 report by the CARICOM Election Observation Mission, which monitored the Bahamas' general election in May. And while the report praised Election Day protocols in New Providence and Grand Bahama, it did raise some concerns. Observers are calling for an independent electoral management body, along with stronger logistical preparedness and operations within the Parliamentary Registration Department. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson says he's seen the report and doesn't find an issue with that recommendation.
We thought about that for some time, and we have been looking at that, and my team is looking at some legislation that we have seen already and that we're working on. And we hope that that process will be completed as soon as possible.
The observer also sharing that instances of, quote, xenophobic rhetoric regarding the Haitian community, end quote, were noted, which could have undermined voter confidence among Bahamians of Haitian descent.
There might be some truth there, I'm not sure, but I cannot say based on the information we have. But I know we end up with about 67% of the people turning out to vote who registered. But again, that's one of the highest we have in the region.
Concerns were also raised by stakeholders regarding allegations of vote buying.
During the political season, we hear all kinds of things. And, that's why we asked the press to really do their due diligence and to investigate to see where these reports are coming from.
Now, it's often been said that government doesn't take the advice of these observers, but Thompson insists they are listening.
Observers play a very integral role in the electoral process. They have an independent eye out there looking at what happens during the election. I guess because of what was said by the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, it put a little more strength into how quickly we move forward.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
A 39-year-old Haitian man is behind bars tonight accused of obtaining a Bahamian passport by fraud. Prosecutors allege Gudnesine used a foreign NIB smart card to apply for the passport, which was issued on September 30th in 2024. The court heard that after receiving the passport, Sinair allegedly took it to the National Insurance Board and then attempted to obtain an NIB smart card. Sinair denied the allegations through a Creole interpreter when he appeared before Senior Magistrate Raquel Wims. He was denied bail and is due back in court on August 21st for a status hearing. We've got lots more news to get to tonight, but first it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Centre tonight. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Jerome, and a happy Tuesday evening, everybody. What it did was temperatures got into the mid-90s, actually, and we are still at 90 degrees outside our studios with a few clouds. West-northwest winds at 6 miles per hour, but those feels like temperature approaching triple digits. Feels like 97 degrees on the outside. Temperatures right now, believe it or not, we are at the 90-degree mark across most of the island chain in the Northwest Bahamas. 89 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We pick up 88, Alistown, Bimini. Over in Nicholstown, North Andros, 91. 90s. Great Harbor, Keithbury Islands here in the capital and in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, 91 in Kemps Bay, South Andros. Then temperatures starting to taper off a little bit. 89 in Black Point, Exuma Keys. 85s, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Coburn Townsend, Salvador. Georgetown, Great Exuma, and in Deadminsky, Long Island. Port Nelson, Rumkey, 86, and into the Southeast Bahamas. Even cooler, 83 degrees in Duncantown, Ragged Island, a pair of 84s. Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay. Abrams Bay, 85, 86, Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands, Matthew Down in Agua. You are the warm spot down there with the temperature right now of 87. Silent radar composite, the reason why we're having these warm temperatures, that Saharan dust and that high pressure ridge still in charge of our weather. And we have very dry conditions. Just a few isolated showers across the Grand Bahama and the Abacos as well as the Andros area. That moisture with that weakening boundary to the east of us, slowly sagging towards us, but likely to fall apart. So we're going to continue to see these very warm temperatures for the next couple of days. So you hear we repeat this once again. Stay indoors and protect yourself from the sunshine. Of course, we want you to remain hydrated. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. We'll take a second look at our weather when we come back.
Coming up in sports, Frederick King is headed back to a familiar campus in Omaha, Nebraska. All right. Another shout out for Team Bahamas on the pitch in the DR, and Chavez Young is clearly having fun as a French Canadian.
My lord, Rika done turned 23 on us.
Say less. She was just a brown girl in the ring, and now she's 23? I dreaming.
Hold on. I ain't supposed to go to Paradise Games. I gotta play this early California and late Miami.
Child, you know Rika born lucky. If anyone age could fall, it's her. I think I coming with you to Paradise Games.
Well, hurry up then. These numbers ain't gonna play themselves.
I come in. Any on Prince Charles now. You know we like new things.
Paradise Games. It pays to play in paradise. Paradise Games reminds you to please game responsibly.
You or a loved one currently under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Our compassionate team is committed to patients and their loved ones. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept all major insurance. With 2 locations to serve you, at Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street, we also ship to the Family Islands. Visit us on Facebook or call Ports at 377-1771.
Want real talk on real health issues? The Doctors Hospital podcast brings you expert insights straight from our medical team, connecting public health issues to what we do here within the health system.
From chronic disease to mental wellness, we break it down so you understand how it affects you and what we're doing to help. Listen or watch the Doctors Hospital podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Doctors Hospital Podcast, where public health becomes personal.
Rubens has career wear from Casper and Klein and Le Suit that will take you from office perfection to after-hour elegance with professional tailored suiting and business casual pieces. We have your 9-to-5 fit, even in plus. At Rubens, we believe trailblazing women need clothing that will consistently deliver powerful looks that complement their style and confidence. Rubens has workwear for the guys too, with Dockers and Nautica pants, dress shirts, and more to enhance his professional wardrobe. Get dressed up with Rubens, Harbor Bay and Palmdale Plaza, with timeless suiting made to work.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. Frederick King clearly had some unfinished business at Creighton, and we're all for the return. I just need them to understand we have very important games against Uruguay and Panama this month, so I need them to do the right thing. But I digress. Back to Creighton. A series of court rulings gave players from the 2022 high school class an extra year of college eligibility, and King is taking advantage of it. So the Andros native is going back to Creighton for one more run. King spent 3 years in Omaha, playing mostly behind current NBA pro Ryan Kalkbrenner, and over the course of those 3 years, his career high season was just 3.4 points per game in limited minutes. 2 matches, 2 shutouts, Team Bahamas is emerging as an early favorite. The Bahamas U14 boys are rolling in Punta Cana. After opening the CFU U14 Challenge Series with a 3-0 win over Anguilla, the boys went right back to work Monday, and this time they put 5 in the net. The Bahamas crushed Montserrat 5-0 to make it 2 straight wins and move to 6 points in group play. The French Canadians have Chavez Young saying merci beaucoup. Pretty sure I botched that pronunciation, but I can only imagine what he has them saying. It's a relationship that works, and he's balling. Young is doing it all for the Quebec Capitales in the Frontier League. In his debut season, he's become one of the league's best hitters and is wreaking havoc on the base pass. Young is now leading the Frontier League with 88 runs scored, while his 47 stolen bases are ranked second best in the league. That'll do it for sports. You are such a privileged viewer. You get 2 of these. Back on our news at 7:30.
When we come back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as the US and Canada race against the clock to reach an agreement on tariffs before a midnight deadline this Wednesday set by President Donald Trump. Plus, the Colombian president is appealing to US President Trump to suspend tariffs as that country recovers from a devastating 7.4 magnitude earthquake that claimed at least 289 lives. And then the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice is rejecting allegations of panel fixing and interference in judicial decisions. We'll have the details when our news returns.
Chicken lovers, listen up! Popeyes is serving it up for you! Get 5 pieces of juicy, hand-battered, bone-in chicken for just $10. That's right, 5 pieces of Louisiana-style flavor, fried to golden, crispy perfection for only $10. But don't wait, this deal won't last forever. Head to your nearest Popeyes today and grab your 5-piece for just $10. Popeyes, where the chicken's always worth the hype. Available for a limited time only.
For 38 years, Struckham Commercial Pest Services has provided trained certified technicians while using environmentally safe, industry-standard products. Pests can devastate your business. Together, we will ensure adequate sanitation standards and safe pest exclusion methods. Uncontrolled pest problems lead to significant financial loss due to food contamination, business disruption, and stock waste. Struckham provides detailed solutions protecting your business and reputation. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Chicken lovers, listen up! Popeyes is serving it up for you! Get 5 pieces of juicy, hand-battered, bone-in chicken for just $10. That's right, 5 pieces of Louisiana-style flavor, fried to golden, crispy perfection for only $10. But don't wait, this deal won't last forever. Head to your nearest Popeyes today and grab your 5-piece for just $10. Popeyes, where the chicken's always worth the hype. Available for a limited time only.
This is our news and welcome back. We're turning our attention now to those stories making headlines across the world. The US and Canada are racing against the clock to reach an agreement on tariffs before a midnight deadline this Wednesday set by President Donald Trump. If no deal is reached, Trump has threatened to implement a 50% tariff on $20 billion worth of Canadian goods, including items as diverse as hockey sticks and tongue depressors. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney confirmed the intensity of the talks, stating, "This is not the time to talk about negotiations in public." Carney and Trump discussed the matter over the phone on Monday, highlighting the urgency before Wednesday's deadline. Despite historical trade tensions such as disputes over softwood lumber and dairy access, both nations have maintained strong relations. In fact, Canadian soldiers have fought alongside Americans in conflicts like Afghanistan. Every day, over 330,000 people and $2 billion in goods cross the undefended 5,000-mile U.S.-Canada border. Colombia's President Alvarado de la Espriella is appealing to the U.S. President Donald Trump to suspend tariffs as the country recovers from a devastating 7.4 magnitude earthquake that claimed at least 289 lives. De la Espriella, who took office just days before that quake struck, stressed his connections with Trump, who backed him during Colombia's recent elections. On Saturday, he thanked Trump for U.S. aid and requested a temporary suspension of high tariffs impacting Colombian products, stating that local business owners are facing significant challenges due to the earthquake's impact. Now, while the Trump administration has not yet responded to this request, the U.S. has already promised some $26.5 million in aid and relief efforts, including essential supplies and shelter. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has been declared the winner of a contentious election, securing about 60% of the vote despite violence and disruptions at polling stations. Vote counting was temporarily suspended due to violence, and opposition officials were arrested during a raid that resulted in gunfire. Hichilema's main opponent, Brian Mundubile, received approximately 38% of the vote, as reported by the Electoral Commission. Zambia, with a population of 22 million, is a major copper producer and has become a focus of Chinese investment due to its vast reserves in this critical mineral. The announcement of the results comes after days of rising tensions since last Thursday's election. And finally, from the region, the president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Winston Anderson, has rejected allegations of panel fixing and interference in judicial decisions. In a statement from Port of Spain, he acknowledged that some internal matters may have been handled too forcefully. The president also addressed recent reports and publications regarding the court's internal affairs, expressing that the disclosures have generated concern, anxiety, and profound sadness within the institution and the region. He condemned the unauthorized release of confidential court material, which included internal deliberations and correspondence. Anderson's statement also touched on allegations about his leadership, including matters of judicial dress, panel composition, and his role in discussions around Guyana's judicial leadership. Coming up in our news at 7:30, firefighters avert a tragedy by stopping an abandoned building fire on East Street from spreading to nearby businesses.
Around 12:30, I got a call, so I pull up here maybe like between maybe 12:40 or maybe 1 o'clock. I see the fire trucks already here.
Plus, still looking for a great summer getaway? Known for his exquisite Mediterranean dinner menu, this is the perfect weekend breakfast spot. Join us for the start of our latest summer staycation series. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Marco's Pizza, Marco's Pizza, something never tasted so good.
Marco's Summer Party is bringing the fun. Choose 2 large one-topping pizzas with a 2-liter soda for just $34.95. Or grab a big square deal, 1 medium, 1-topping pizzas with boneless wings for just $39.95. Enter to win weekly Baja Bay water passes and your very own Marco's Summer Party pack all summer long. Marco's Pizza, summer never tasted so good.
Bing bang bing. Bing bang bing. Ding ding bang. Bang bang bang. Bing bang bing. Bing bang bing. Ding ding bang. Bang bang bang. Bing bang bing. Bang bang. Bing bang bing. Bing bang bing. Ding ding bang.
Popeyes just turned up the heat. Introducing the new Bahama Heat Wings. Crispy, juicy wings paired with a bold, fiery hot sauce that hits with flavor first. Then the heat starts to build. Toss your wings in that bold Bahama spice sauce or dip them on the side. The choice is yours. So are you ready to handle the heat? Grab the new Bahama Heat Wings at Popeyes today. Available for a limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record, we challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8 p.m. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
Finally, in this segment tonight, some Bahamians are getting a chance to turn their creativity into real-world experience without even having to leave home to do it. Some representing the Bahamians, after representing the Bahamas and Belize this summer through the young leaders of the Americas Institute, Manager Studios CEO Felicia Fraser brought that same vision home. Pardon me, that's Mango Studios. Through Content House, it was launched this summer in partnership with the Ministry of Youth's Summer Employment Program. 7 interns spent 4 weeks working on real projects and learning from professionals in the creative industry. Fraser says her own experiences abroad showed her just how much potential exists here at home.
Helping to rub shoulders with professionals from around the world, I realized that in the rooms that I go in, I often find that I'm basically one of the few Caribbean persons in there, and then also I'm one of the few persons that are self-taught. They come from countries that has well-established film schools and well-developed creative and orange economies. And so it gave me an inspiration when I would come back home to say, okay, we have all of these creative potentials in this country.
After 4 weeks of work, the young creatives got the chance to showcase what they had learned with family and friends there to see it. Fraser says the pride on their families' faces was one of the highlights of the program, and she's now looking ahead to making Content House even bigger.
My biggest takeaway, or my biggest accomplishment, I think, with it was we actually had a showcase at the very end where they invited their family and their friends, their aunts, their uncles, their sisters, their brothers to showcase the work that they were doing for 4 weeks. The pride that they were able to see on their families' faces of their creative work and what all they were doing, and they talk about their experience being in Mango Studios and having to learn. It was a really great thing for me to see, and I was like, okay, I was in the right direction with this program. The only thing I wish I was able to host more of them, but we'll see in the future, definitely, of making it a bigger program. And it was well received by the parents. And it was the next thing that we also did was we allowed them to be mentored by the professionals in the industry. So we had Miss Nixon, aka Dynamite Daisy, we had Jaquay, we had Bodine Victoria, who mentored them for an hour, and they was able to ask any questions from being influencers to monetization, how to take their career seriously.
All right, great work there, and who knows, maybe amongst those up-and-coming content creators, there are some future R News employees. Who knows? To watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, be sure and visit rnews.ps. That's going to do it for R News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Hall-Thomas. She's up with the latest headlines. Italia, there's a story tonight about a food place in Bahama.
Yes,
There's a guy in there with a pink shirt and a cap. Please ignore him. I don't know how he got there and what he was doing there.
All right.
When you see the story,
wait to see.
Just ignore
I have
him.
an idea who it is, but anyway, we'll wait. Thanks so much, Jerome. Well, coming up in our news at 7:30, we take you inside the Bahama Resort to one of its popular restaurants. Cleo, let's see who's in there. Here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on our news live at 7:30.
More disruptions here at Bahamas Power and Light. I'm Delvade Emmanuel. Stay tuned to our news tonight for the full story.
Also, firefighters battle a blaze overnight and an abandoned building near the police headquarters. Thick smoke now raising concerns for nearby businesses. Also, police are investigating an alleged sexual assault involving a 17-year-old girl. We have the latest. And later, the opposition took its message to the University of the Bahamas last night, hosting a panel discussion on key national issues. The story when our news live at 7:30 returns.
As Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited advances the new energy era, the company remains committed to modernizing the grid while protecting the communities and environments it serves. BPL's Director of Energy Supply, Jeffrey Davis, explains what must be evaluated before a project moves forward.
Any project that we implement or are part of must incorporate the surrounding environment in a way that's not disruptive to it. An environmental impact assessment has to be conducted and approved. That includes an environmental response plan. So all the risks to the environment are identified and a mitigation plan has to be provided. Bahamas Power Light has a safety and environment division whose responsibility is to assess various impacts of any project or any operation that BPL is involved in.
Environmental scientist Dr. Neely Murphy explains some of the factors that should be considered when major energy infrastructure is being developed.
We definitely need to consider what is at that site. Is that site complete with pine trees, which are a protected species? Are there wetlands? Are there birds that frequent the area? And so once we look at that site and we determine whether this activity can happen at the site, we have to ensure that there is some kind of balance and that once this site is completely disturbed, that the functions that this site would have carried out in the environment are replicated someplace else. And so for BPL and for energy, we look at the site as a whole and we determine how we could proceed with the specific site.
Through careful planning, assessments, and monitoring, BPL continues to work to balance the country's evolving energy needs while protecting the land that we call home.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall Thomas. First tonight, the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union pushing back against the suspension of one of its shop stores as the fallout over BPL's overtime spending continues. The union president claims the shop store was handed a suspension letter Tuesday. Our Delvado Emmanuel has more details in this report.
Electrical Workers Union was informed yesterday that they intend to bring action against a shop steward, Mr. Wellington Porter. We met with the CEO today, and she issued a letter of suspension to him for what they call gross misconduct. But there was no details concerning it as to why, and there claims to be some investigation.
The suspension comes as BPL's overtime spending faces increased public scrutiny, with government moving to tighten controls after the annual overtime bill approached $2 million. The controversy intensified after a report revealed 3 employees in BPL's Fuel and Performance Department collectively received more than $600,000 in overtime over a 12-month period. Those employees have since been identified as president of Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson, shop steward, Wellington Porter, and manager for fuel and special projects, Melvin Babb. Wilson is not disputing that overtime was worked, but says the public should be given the full picture. He argues those hours had to pass through BPL's approval process and says if employee pay is going to be subject to public scrutiny, the same standard should be applied across the company.
Oh, it looks sexy to see my stuff when they trump it up and fluff it up and make it look good and throw it out there, right? Now I want to see who getting what too, all right? So don't stop at me. Don't stop at Mr. Porter. Don't stop at Mr. Babs. Leak everybody time now and everybody salaries to the public.
Adding to the scrutiny, one overtime record reportedly show an employee claiming 18 hours on Christmas Day, followed by 24 hours on each of the next 3 days, a total of 90 hours across 4 consecutive days. Porter, who worked in BPL's fuel operation, is defending those extended hours.
During that time, he was dealing with the coastal tankers, the farmland tankers that take the fuel to our station in the farmland. So we had to work the farmland tankers, the ocean tanker, and also we had to work by transferring fuel. So these things take days to complete.
The union maintains employees cannot authorize or pay themselves for overtime and is now calling for independent auditors to take a closer look at BPL's operations, including the overtime approval process.
But show us the report and show us the salary of all of these leaders in BPL.
Now, this disruption is just the latest in ongoing issues here at the power company, which continues to raise questions about management and its ability to provide proper oversight. Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvaro Emmanuel.
All right, thanks so much for that, Delvardo. Well, flames ripped through an abandoned building on East Street North overnight. Just across from the police headquarters, the fire sent thick smoke into the area and had nearby businesses concerned as firefighters worked to keep the blaze from spreading. Evelyn Ferguson reports.
An abandoned building on East Street North was still burning well after midnight as firefighters worked to bring the blaze under control. The property, located opposite police headquarters, is surrounded by businesses and other buildings. Alex Knowles, whose family has operated ATCA Laboratories and Consultants for more than 20 years, rushed to the area after being alerted to the fire. He says his biggest concern was whether the flames could reach his business and the potentially hazardous materials inside.
So around 12:30 I got a call. So I pull up here maybe like at between maybe 12:40 or maybe 1 o'clock. I see the fire trucks already here. I was maybe 3 and the police stations, everything was out here. They had the water. The fire was pretty much high. But I was very curious because this is a environmental lab. I didn't want anything to catch fire because it can, chemicals and stuff like that could be high explosion. But yeah, they handled it very well.
But as the flames died down, questions remained about what caused the fire and whether anyone had been inside the abandoned structure.
What I know so far, I know it's an abandoned building. I'm not too sure. I heard rumors about they had some people living in it. I'm not too sure about that. Can't confirm that. But they say that it was an old building. They had no power, so I don't know what caused the fire, to be honest. So they say investigation guys supposed to come in today. I don't know when, but once they get that info, yeah, they'll let us know.
The cause of the fire had not been confirmed at the time of this report by police. And while firefighters were able to contain the blaze, the incident again put a spotlight on the island's fire response capacity. In April 2025, a massive fire destroyed the former Solomon's Old Trail and Cartwright on East-West Highway, with firefighters facing challenges including limited trucks and failing hydrants as flames tore through the structure. During the budget debate in May, Finance Minister Michael Halkitis outlined government's plans to strengthen the fire service with new trucks.
The acquisition of 20 fire trucks for the fire department and 20 fire trucks for the airport authority to strengthen capacity. To strengthen capacity and responsiveness in protecting lives and property.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Evelyn Ferguson.
All right, Evelyn, thanks for that. Well, there's been a recent uptick in dog attacks across the country, including 2 men attacked here in the capital and a 9-year-old American boy attacked in Bimini, all within weeks of each other. But controversy followed after the owner of the dogs involved in the Bimini attack was fined and sentenced. The move left some questioning why action was taken in that particular case and whether the victim's nationality played a role. Well, that question was put to Agriculture Minister Jomo Campbell today, who says the government has been working to address the issue from day one.
In the very near future, I think as early as next week, we will be inviting the press back to the ministry, not for speeches, but to show them exactly what tangible work is being done. I'm being asked not to let the cat out of the bag right now, but what I will say is that we are taking firm steps. And just as I'm presenting, we are presenting to you today this National Crop Schedule program. We will be in a position to present to you our hard and firm physical response to not just the stray dog attacks, but to illegal backyard breeding, unlicensed pet ownership, and the whole gamut that surrounds animals and animal control in the country.
And as for whether any action is being taken against the owners involved in the other attacks, Campbell says police are currently working on those cases. He says government's response will involve multiple agencies.
What we're going to present to the public is our combined response, and it actually has teeth. I'm so tempted. Okay. It actually has teeth. So we'll be taking steps to be able to actually hold persons physically accountable for their mishandling of pets that causes this plague of stray dog attacks in the country. So you could hold me to it. You could hold me to it by next week. Before the end of next week, we'll be calling you all back here to see exactly what is taking place in that regard.
Well, police are investigating a sexual assault incident involving a 17-year-old in the area of Strawn's Alley, Kemp Road on Monday. According to initial reports, shortly after 7 p.m., the victim's mother told police that her 17-year-old daughter was at her grandmother's residence when an argument with her uncle ensued. The daughter then left the residence to find transportation home. While walking, she encountered an unidentified man and asked him for a ride. The man agreed and took her to a residence where he allegedly sexually assaulted her against her will. After the alleged assault, the suspect drove the victim to a friend's residence in the Pinewood Gardens area. The victim then returned to her residence and informed her mother about the alleged assault. Now investigations are continuing. Well, hot temperatures across a chain of islands on this Tuesday. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, tongue twister, is in the Weather Center with your first look at temperatures. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and a happy Tuesday evening, everybody. A very, very warm day around the islands. Temperatures getting into the mid-90s, and we are seeing those temperatures at the 90-degree mark right now outside our studios. Few clouds, your winds out of the west-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Feels like temperature. Feels very warm. Feels like 97 degrees on the outside. Satellite and radar composite, we are still quiet across area. Ridge of high pressure in charge. Saharan dust is with us. We still have a heat advisory for the northwest Bahamas, while a dust advisory is in effect for the entire chain of islands, as that Saharan dust is very prevalent out there. Weakening boundary to the east of us, still sagging towards the southwest, likely to fall apart before it gets to us, so we're not going to see much in terms of any shower activity. So we're looking for some dry conditions over the next several days. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. We'll take a look at the tropics, which remains quiet, and your extended forecast when we come back.
Still to come in our news, opposition took its message to the University of the Bahamas last night, hosting a panel discussion on key national issues. Also looking for a weekend escape without leaving the country. We'll take you inside Bahamas, starting with breakfast at Clio. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
The Pink Place Independence. It's that time again. Yeah, sun's over. We got the colors for you to paint it right. We got the things that you need, you know, to paint the work of your dreams. Let's go on the gone one. People, yeah, we are equal. 21 sensitive, so high without faith.
The Free National Movement is looking back at the moment that changed the party's history while also talking about what it will take to shape its future. The party gathering Monday evening at the University of the Bahamas as it continued Delivery Week 2026, commemorating 24 years since its landmark 1992 general election victory. The event brought together some of the voices from that era alongside a new generation of F&Ms for a conversation about the party's legacy, the lessons from 1992, and how those lessons can be applied today. Among the topics, the role women played in helping the F&M break through in 1992 under former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. Juni-Ann Dorset reflected on that contribution, while Freetown Member of Parliament Lincoln Deal spoke about the party's next chapter and the importance of making room for younger voices.
The role of women went back way before that. Women were some of the primary builders of the Free National Movement. And many of them, many of us, didn't even aspire to the front line. We were there to work and to build a party, period.
Let's move outside of the halls. Let's get into UB. Let's get into the bars. Let's get into the other places and genuinely connect with these young people. Show them that if you're an entrepreneur, listen, we have a vision to push entrepreneurship. If you are someone that believes in agri-tech, we believe in that.
Party leader Michael Pintard said as the party continues to celebrate the generation that helped build the F&M, the challenge now is making sure that experience is passed on while giving a new generation an opportunity to help lead.
We are wedded to success more than we are wedded to any individual that holds any position in the Free National Movement. And we are more committed to the country than we are to the party. Yes. And none of our personal ambitions will trump what we do in the interest of developing this country. And so we will look at every position and every strategy, every message we've shared to make sure that it coincides with the dreams and aspirations of Bahamians. That is our objective.
Coming up in sports, if the courts say you can, then you can. Frederick King makes the most of an opportunity, and the junior Junkanoo boys keep rolling in the DR.
Every great future begins with a strong foundation. For the last 10 years, you've helped us build one rooted in connection, trust, and community. Now it's our turn to build something for you.
10 years ago, we've laid the foundation for something bigger. Today, we're still connecting, still transforming, and we're built for more decades of innovation.
And because you've been a part of this journey, we're celebrating the people that has helped us build it every step of the way.
Alive turns 10 and we're celebrating. Customers have a chance to win cash prizes, travel experiences, plus one lucky winner will drive away in a brand new car.
Complete the following transactions, follow us on social media, and celebrate Alive turning 10 with us. After all, it's good to be alive.
I'm very excited, and I can't believe it. It's a dream come true. When she did call me yesterday about it, I didn't know what to believe. Thanks to Mr. Coleman and this whole staff for what they do, and making sure the customers are taken care of, making sure we enjoy the gaming they do give to us. Chances is the great house to play, even down to the staff, is perfect. You're going to marvel.
Celebrates the Bahamian spirit, from culture and craft to our reefs and jungle, preserving what's ours, shaping what's next. Like, it's in our hands.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. Frederick King clearly had some unfinished business at Creighton, and we're all for the return. I just need them to understand we have very important games against Uruguay and Panama this month, so I need them to do the right thing. But I digress. back to Creighton. A series of court rulings gave players from the 2022 high school class an extra year of college eligibility, and King is taking advantage of it. So the Andros native is going back to Creighton for one more run. King spent 3 years in Omaha, playing mostly behind current NBA pro Ryan Kalkbrenner, and over the course of those 3 years, his career high season was just 3.4 points per game in limited minutes. Then he transferred to Murray State, got consistent playing time, and made the most of it to boost his stock. With the Racers, King put up 13 points, 8.4 boards, and 2.1 blocks per game while shooting 65% from the field. He walked away with Missouri Valley Conference Newcomer of the Year, first team All-Missouri Valley Conference, and All-Defensive Team honors. King was supposed to take that show to Germany. Earlier this summer, he signed with MLP Academies Heidelberg. Instead, the work permit situation led to his contract being canceled, and it was a mutual agreement by both sides. Then the draw of big college basketball came calling again, and now King is back in Blue Jay country. This time, he's not the same Frederick King who left. We'll see if the coaching staff understands that now. They've got to, right? 2 matches, 2 shutouts, Team Bahamas is emerging as an early favorite. The Bahamas U14 boys are rolling in Punta Cana. After opening the CFU U14 Challenge Series with a 3-0 win over Anguilla, the boys went right back to work Monday, and this time they put 5 in the net. The Bahamas crushed Montserrat 5-0 to make it 2 straight wins and move to 6 points in group play. The Bahamian side controlled the match from the opening tip, kept the pressure on, and made the most of their chances. Now comes the final group stage test, Guyana, Wednesday morning at 9:30. Let's keep it rolling. The French Canadians have Chavez Young saying merci beaucoup. Pretty sure I botched that pronunciation, but I can only imagine what he has them saying. It's a relationship that works, and he's balling. Young is doing it all for the Quebec Capitales in the Frontier League. In his debut season, he's become one of the league's best hitters and is wreaking havoc on the base pass. Young is now leading the Frontier League with 88 runs scored, while his 47 stolen bases are ranked second best in the league. Those 47 steals already a new high water mark for Quebec in their record books. Young has set the Capitales franchise record for stolen bases in a single season, surpassing the old mark of 46 last week. He was already named a Frontier League All-Star earlier this season, and on the year, he's batting .362 with 108 hits, 22 doubles, 5 triples, 11 homers, and 66 RBI. He may be speaking French forever now. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10OIS. I'm all for player empowerment. I'm all for player movement. I'm all for labor being paid. I was also a kid that grew up thinking the NCAA was the villain in Blue Chips. So Fred King, AJ Storr, any other Bahamian, if you want to be an actual 10th year senior, do your thing. Stay in school, because it's rough outside here with the rest of us.
Still ahead on our news tonight, looking for a weekend escape without leaving the country? We take you inside the Bahama Resort, starting with Cleo. With breakfast, our Joshua Williams has the full story straight ahead. And sunny weather in the capital on this Tuesday. Greg is back with the extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Sun, sea, good friends. And bold new flavor has arrived in the Bahamas. Introducing the new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger. Spicy jalapenos, cool ranch, fresh Wendy's beef, one perfect balance. This isn't a heat you run from, you enjoy it. Bring the heat. Keep the cool with Wendy's new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Celebrates the Bahamian spirit, from culture and craft to our reefs and jungle, preserving what's ours, shaping what's next. Like, it's in our hands.
Do you think you know domestic violence? Think again. It is not just physical, emotional, financial, or sexual abuse, and it doesn't discriminate. If you feel intimidated, harassed, or manipulated, you're not alone. The Bahamas Crisis Center and the Domestic Violence Task Force are here. I am Sergeant 3992 Tamika Neely. Let's break the silence on domestic violence. Let's create safer communities.
This is our news. Welcome back. The tropics very quiet right now. We have a lot of Saharan dust out there that's keeping all those tropical waves coming off the African coast at bay. Not even showing much in terms of any shower activity. Most of the activity just waning as we continue to track the system moving towards the west. Very strong one coming off the African coast. We watch that one closely, but the remainder of the tropics quiet. The Gulf as well as the Caribbean also quiet, so we're not expecting any significant formation of any kind of tropical cyclone for the next 7 days. Closer to home though, ridgified pressure, Saharan dust in charge of our weather, keeping us with some toasty conditions as well as some dry and hazy skies. We're looking for that to continue for the next couple of days. There's a weak boundary to the east of us that's trying to sag towards the southwest. It's likely to fall apart before it gets here. That's associated with the frontal boundary, but we don't expect much in terms of any significant weather with that system as it pulls towards the south and west. Future forecast showing the moisture associated with that boundary waning as we speak. A couple of isolated showers remaining just to the east of the Bahamas through Wednesday. A couple of showers popping up across Florida. They could make its way across our area, especially the northwest Bahamas. But as I mentioned, not much in terms of any significant rainfall expected. Northwest Bahamas, if we plan on doing any boating tonight through tomorrow, winds will fall light and variable, but they become variable at 5 to 10 knots tomorrow. Seas running 2 to 3 feet of open waters. Low tide is at 7:16 tonight. The high tide takes place at 1:13 in the morning. Central and southeast Bahamas and east to south easterly flow at 10 to 15 knots. They will fall light and variable across the central Bahamas, but your seas will be running 2 to 4 feet of open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, isolated showers likely possible as that boundary gets closer to us. Maybe a spotty shower or two taking us into the end of the week, but we expect those temperatures to remain rather toasty. So once again, you've heard this before. If you plan on being on the outdoors, stay hydrated and protect yourself from the sunshine. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg. Well, if you're looking for a breakfast with a Mediterranean twist, Cleo at the Bahama Resort has you covered. And that's just one of the experiences that makes the resort a popular staycation spot. Our news team partnered with Bahama for an exclusive look at what a weekend getaway there has to offer tonight. We're starting with the most important meal of the day, breakfast. Our Joshua Williams takes us inside.
It's a tradition for many Bahamian families to go out on the weekends for a good breakfast. And while there are plenty of popular favorites around the island, did you know that Cleo Mediterraneo is also a great option? The restaurant is known for its Mediterranean-inspired cuisine, with a menu that's popular for its tasty and unique lunch and dinner offerings. But what we were surprised to discover is that they also serve breakfast. When our news team was invited down to experience the morning meal, we were met with a wide variety of options, from fresh, delicious fruits to wholesome grains and cereals, along with an assortment of protein options. And of course, there were plenty of desserts for those with a sweet tooth. Head chef Keno Anderson tells me there's something on the menu for everyone.
Well, we have tried to incorporate a lot of Bahamian as well as our international cuisine. You can see we have a Bahamian corner over here. We have steamed sausage and grits. We have our grill station here with the kielbasa, sausage, and barbecue ribs. Over here we have our hotline where we have bacon and eggs, French toast, chicken sausage and pork sausage, and your eggs. Breakfast potatoes over here.
The quality and tastiness of the food are evident from the very first bite. Chef Anderson tells me it's that careful preparation and attention to detail that truly sets them apart.
We try and make all our products we make in-house, as well as the smoked salmon. We do that ourselves. It's a 4-day process. And we finish it off with a 45-minute smoke in Applewood. So, and as well as the breakfast buffet, everything like the sauces and all of that stuff, we do in the morning.
While the restaurant can average between 200 and 300 guests, that number can climb to 400 or even 500 during the busy season. But Chef Anderson says the joy of putting smiles on people's faces through food makes it all worthwhile.
I take immense pride in it, and I try to transfer a lot of the pride that I have into it through my team members. So, if they see me taking pride in my work, they would do the same. And I try to lead by example. So everybody's pretty proud of what they're doing here.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, looks delicious. I can't wait to check it out. Thanks so much for that report, Josh. And thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall Thomas. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.